I'm Ted Gutierrez at S4 2025. I'm here by a colleague in the industry, Rod Locke from Fortinet, OT Product Manager. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thanks, Ted.
Well, thanks for taking some time to talk to the audience here. So you are one of the prime sponsors for S4 25. People can find you at one of the prime rooms. What's going to be happening there today, tomorrow, and the next couple of days?
Yeah, thanks. So we've got a pretty interesting lineup of stuff happening in the prime room. The first thing you could do is obviously come and see some of our gear and see some demos of things like our rugged FortiGates, FortiSwitches, access points, cellular extenders. So all of our secure networking gear is there to look at. We've got a few upcoming products that are already on display there, so you can get a sneak peek at some new devices that can hopefully help solve some of your cybersecurity challenges. And then we also have some sessions, not just from our experts, showing off some core features as well as some kind of cool niche features of the rugged devices, but also from a bunch of our partners, some of whom are also sponsors at this event. So we've got a bunch of our cybersecurity partners as well.
Well, it's cool that you brought some gear for folks to play with. It's always cool to put a name to a face, which I think S4 does a great job to, but also to be able to touch and feel and look and demo. I think that's pretty incredible. Your company is so large, so well established, even from a global perspective. I would say that you're far more of a global company than most that attend here. What S4 has always done a really great job is pushing the envelope from a content perspective on where is ICS going and where are we as a collective community taking it. What's Fortinet's perspective on the future of ICS, and where does it see itself kind of driving that change?
Yeah, it's so where we see ourselves right now, Fortinet's always done a good job of, I would say, meeting people where they are.
Right.
So we are trying to push the envelope, but we're also trying to help people with some of the basics. So you're going to see a little bit of both of those things.
So you're one of the few that's not trying to put the whole world in touch with AI, right?
We definitely have. I wouldn't be a product manager in 2025 if I didn't say that we have some AI capabilities.
I know, but you're balancing what maybe the world can consume or handle at a given time, right?
Yeah. But what's interesting, actually, the thing that the first applications that we've done of AI in our products have actually been to upskill people and help people that are actually maybe a more junior staffer or SOC analyst and help upskill them and speed them up. So it is actually, what's interesting is how much AI can help with some of those basic problems rather than thinking of it as, okay, I'm not going to touch that until I'm advanced.
I actually totally agree. I think it's a great application. I think that especially investors, they get real hot about how much it's going to change the world. But I think in our particular space, we've got a brain drain. There's not enough folks out there with the requisite skill sets to even deploy some of these technical solutions. And then there's not enough time, whether it's a compliance initiative, whether it's a security initiative, all these different things combined. The world of an OT or an IT or security leader is just, it's tough. And so if what you're saying is that some of the product development that you're invested in is trying to bring up maybe somebody that's junior faster than they would probably rise up without your solution, then I'd say perfect application.
Yeah, and we also pride ourselves on having a relatively easy to manage, especially on the secure networking side, where we have things like the FortiGate, FortiSwitch, FortiAP extender, all managed through the same FortiGate console. So they're all, unified fabric and relatively easy UI to graph. So you don't have to learn like 3 different command lines to get things set up. But again, AI, when you're managing that at scale through like a single pane of glass management across multiple sites, that's where AI can really upskill and accelerate people to help them just get things faster.
What do I do next, and why does that mean that? I mean, there's so many applications that I've found useful for software development and really, usability. Speaking about the actual users that are out there, all of the users combined of every one of your products makes up what I consider kind of an addressable market. And as we think about how much capital was deployed, specifically in new technology companies in this particular space over 2021, we've seen some of that investment cool off. When you think about all the various users in every sector out there, how are you defining right now where the market is within your client base and within your prospect base that maybe you haven't reached yet? What are their core problems, and maybe what are some of the things that we could do better as an industry as we look at that core customer base?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think what we see are, we still see people on kind of a spectrum from people who are trying to, they've done an initial build out of some kind of cybersecurity estate, and they're trying to build that out and improve things like their SOC automation.
Sure.
We also see people who are still kind of getting onto the first step of securing their OT cybersecurity environment, and we definitely, we still, even the past year, we would have had people deploying a FortiGate at their site where that could have been, the first time they've segmented IT and OT, or the first time they have had a firewall at the site, full stop, for like a manufacturing facility. So we really,
I think a lot of people try to envision the market is that more accelerated team that has been deploying capital, that has been making mistakes, that has been having wins. They know exactly what they want, they know how to deploy it. I still think that's the majority of the market. What say you?
I do think so. So we definitely have some customers that are at that larger scale, and especially like global energy companies, where they've
really
had
the
to be
leaders.
doing this for years.
Yeah.
They're leaders. They're becoming more sophisticated and maybe adapting a little bit of their approach and looking at whether they're trying to, do a bit of vendor consolidation or get onto more of a platform model, just to make it. Again, you mentioned skills shortage. Even they're going to struggle to manage as they build out more cybersecurity controls, and tied into a lot of the connectivity they're trying to add for business agility and digital transformation. They're having constant, changes in how they connect to these sites, and so they're trying to manage that all at the same time.
Well, and I think you've got, your perspective. You serve IT clients, you serve OT clients, you're growing the market, you serve governance players. All of these things combined we've got different players that are buying solutions they're either forced to work together or trying to work together. One of the challenges that I see is, not all OT and IT teams have the same requisite skill sets or experience levels. Your digitization teams are pulling them in one direction. Your governance teams, you have global compliance. I mean, all of these things combined, you would think that it creates the foundation for a lot of teamwork and accelerated usage of different products, and ultimately value in the industry. But I've actually seen that it can become somewhat of a detriment, because there's just too many players in the room. A company of your size and scale with so many different clients, is that something that comes up regularly, or is that something that maybe is not as prevalent in your world? We
do see it, and often we're in the position of trying to
bridge people together.
Marriage counseling, right? But we have a team that's working with that organization, and we could be talking to them one day about their cloud initiative and another day about their well pads, right? So, and I think that's especially important, is to realize that so many people are actually changing their controls environment, like SCADA in the cloud, data historians in the cloud are becoming way more prevalent. Things like industrial IoT, where you are using more of an IoT, I guess, model for how you manage that fleet of devices. Everything is, things are sort of being transformed as they try and get more things like edge intelligence into the
I think it's increasing. I think it's increasing the size of our addressable market, but it's also making it really dynamic, right? Which is why I think we need the best minds in this space. What I see happening in the Middle East is very different than Asia, which is very different than Latin America and Europe. As the global footprint that you all have, how would you characterize the different regions of the world? Like, where are they? Are there different regions that are focused on different things that are driving product innovation?
I would say, and I would say what we see are different levels of urgency on some of the compliance standards and regulations that are coming down in different regions. So that certainly is something
Europe
that
is pushing hard right now.
Exactly. We've got a few different regulations coming down in Europe. We've got Singapore, we've got Australia. We also have companies, very large-scale customers in the Middle East, that are going to have very particular requirements about things like running all their management on-prem. Customers in the energy space in Europe, where they need to be fully air-gapped environments. So we have to, there are a lot of cybersecurity technologies and companies that would like to move everyone to the cloud, for example. And
happen overnight.
we have history, 20 years of supporting OT cybersecurity customers, we kind of have to meet people where their regulations and where their internal standards are. And in a lot of cases that could be DMZ architectures, that could be on-prem, but in all cases, making sure that they can actually still manage it, still keep all their content updated and all their protections up to date. So it is something that's important to us. But we do see that vary, especially across regions.
Yeah, and I think it's
as you say.
and it's also a challenge when you think about why folks are buying on the OT side. It's not only for compliance. It's not only to connect people.
Oh, it depends on the person.
Well, I just find that these, there's so much pressure from a P&L perspective. You see a lot of technology companies where a lot of investment made on the tech side, but not on the people process side, right?
Yep.
You see a lot of solutions that have been deployed to customers that fundamentally can't manage, grow, evolve because there's just so many different alerts or so many different data models that they don't know how to sift through. So to me, it's encouraging that you're meeting customers where they are. Because to me, I think you slow down sometimes to move fast. And at the end of the day, it seems like your approach to these customers is this may be what they want, but this is probably what they need in this first phase.
And we can sort of show them that evolution, I guess, of like either whether you want to call it a maturity model evolution, but we can show them sort of case studies and instances where other people have started here and they've ended up with a really...
and here's the roadmap to get there.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's all the products you can get. I think it's...
And we're not, and just to be clear, we're not just trying to layer on as many products. We have a lot of products at Fortinet, and we're not necessarily just trying to layer on lots of products, but we want to give people confidence that this can form the basis of, you can integrate that into the next step in your journey.
Optionality. Very cool. Well, so what are you looking forward to at S425? Anything?
I mean, obviously we've got our own sessions. We've got one of our own speakers on stage 3 that I'm excited to check out and see what he's got. There's a number of sessions. I always like deep dives into really cool vulnerabilities people found. I come from like a device red teaming background a long time ago, so I always find that stuff cool.
It's going to be a fun environment for sure. I think it's always fun to see. Like I said, this is a peer environment. Everybody pushes each other to the next level. It's going to be really exciting. It's in a different place this year, which should be ultra exciting. Anything coming out that you can share from Fortinet's product suite that might be really innovative or that you can talk about?
Things I can't talk about, I could say anybody who's at the event, come check out the booth. We're going to have some exciting announcements coming up. We've got a OT cybersecurity summit that's going to be online next month, and then some important product announcements within Q1.
Very cool. Well, Rod, it's always a pleasure. Come check out Rod and the rest of the Fortinet team at his prime sponsor location. This is S425. Thanks.